Ahoy, matey. So, guess what? You're in for a treat today. I'm going to be doing a pretty special fabrication project that you might be interested to watch. So, I've got a pile of metal here. We've got 2-inch 60-61 and 1.5 60-63 because I need to do a couple of bends. This is going to be a rod holder project for an ocean going boat. And should be pretty cool. Check it out. Okay, this is where I'm at. Using some wood and stuff to prop up my legs. You might be curious what the hell's going on here because this is different than what you were expecting, I'm sure. This rod holder is going to move. I'm going to put a pivot point back here and a mount that's going to mount to his grab rails on the roof. And then down here, there's going to be a gas shock and, of course, 10 rod holders. So this thing can go down so you can get your rods out and up so that you can not have the butt of your rods blocking the doorway in the boat. So the doorway into the cabin. And you see I have some pieces of metal underneath there because there's about 1.5 deferment from center because the roof on his boat isn't, perfectly straight across at the doorway. It's 1.5 different from the center out. So now I got to square up these to the ground and tack them on. thought I was recording, but apparently I wasn't. But I got all the tubes tacked on. There's 12 of them. The friend I'm making this for, he wanted 10, but the spacing was it just looked weird with just 10. So this is where I'm at so far. The legs here are fully welded, and all of these are just tacked in. So I had a little bit of trouble due to some contamination in my tungsten, but ended up getting it. So all this is ready to be fully welded out. And yeah, I was gonna do little stanchion pipes or coping cuts, but I get in a habit of building things a little overkill. So I had to take a little step back and think, how much load are these gonna see? I mean, you go with like an Abbott electric or something, you might see a 30-pound fishing pole in there at the most. And then I thought, banging down the ocean and over waves, and just welded pipe to pipe like that should be more than adequate. And I'll put some real heat to them, and I think that it should be more than strong. So I'm gonna get this off the ground because that's killing my back, and get it up on the bench and burn her in. All right, just a little update. Everything is fully welded, and I just made these ends here. So he has some grab rails on the top of the boat that are 1 inch by 1/2 inch, and these will go over those grab rails, and I drilled and tapped this piece of aluminum here so that he can just bolt it on. So how he'll have to install this is take all the bolts out, hook one side in, and then stretch the other side over, and then it'll be in position it where you want it, and then put all the bolts in and squeeze it, and that sucker ain't going nowhere. So from here, the next hard part is going to be the struts, because the hind end of the strut has to be able to pass the adjacent height. That way it's forcing down when he wants it down, and it's forcing up when he wants it up. We don't really want a whole lot of movement. We're talking like 15 inches max. It's really so that when you have a rod in there, the reel is up against the top and the butt of the rod is hanging way down. So now the butt of the rod is blocking the doorway and it's in the way. So we just want this thing to articulate up so that the butt of the rod is at the height of the back of the door, so that you're not bashing your face when you run out there because you got a bite on. Nobody wants to catch the rod butt in the face. So I got to basically make the same thing like this, and it's going to mount on the rail elsewhere, but it has to be at the pivot point for the shock has to be just the right height. These are the shocks that I got. They are 15 inch, 100 pounds. So yeah, it's legit 100 pounds. So I have to position this sucker just right so that it has the right amount of leverage in order to work, because I may or may not have bought the wrong size. So, because this has to attach to that same grab rail. So if you just put it on there like that, sure, that would work, but it would always be up, and you'd have to force it down. This would compress, and you'd have to hold it down while you get your rods out, which would be a pain in the butt. So say we're at the high point now, because this is angled. If this is like this, that would work, but I need the hind end to be higher when it goes down. So yeah, and it takes just about everything you got in order to squeeze these. So I might end up building this out and then sending these back and getting some lighter duty ones. This might be excessive. Okay, just to give you an idea of the angle on the bed of my little pickup here, with that 2x4, it's almost flat. So that'll be mounted to the grab rail on top of the boat, but this gives you an idea of the rod angle. So all the rods are kind of pointing back, so that when you put your fishing pole in there, they're going to be kind of where you can get them. And when it goes up, they're going to be vertical.
Mounting brackets for the arms and mounting brackets for the struts with the rest plate. Clears the lights. Built off-site.